Talk about emerging technology, what's new, and how the heck can you possibly keep up? It's coming so fast. A recent Dilbert cartoon had one individual saying, "I know what I'm talking about. I have 30 years in this industry." And the colleague replied, "How does that help you understand technology that is 6 months old in a youth-oriented culture?" So we care. So in this presentation, we'll be looking at some of today's newest technology. But first, let's answer the question, why do we care? Why should every one of us care about what's new? So what? Emerging technology today spans all industries. It's coming at us faster and faster, and it's so very hard to keep up. So what can it do for you? Why do you care? The innovation from today's technology is permeating every business, the way they do business, the way we collect information. Of course, you know about big data. And it's necessary over time to know about these innovations just to be either competitive or even if you're, like I'm in the government sector, just to be able to fulfill our mission and to please, in our case, constituents or your customers. It's so important to keep up. Our customers and our employees both have expectations of using technology. They use it in their personal lives. They use it in their social lives. They use it. They've been using it for years. And so it's also the way that we have to do business. So failing to keep up with technology can spell the demise of any organization. If they're not doing what the competitors are doing, or they're even, again, like I shared with the government, what our constituents expect, the experience they expect when dealing with us, it can cause for organizations like retail stuff, actually the demise of the organization. But how can you prepare? It's changing constantly. Are you supposed to be able to predict the future? Well, if we look back in time, we'll see how wrong people were when they tried to do that. So what can we do to be prepared for something that we cannot even conceive of today? The new technology is characterized by uncertainty over adoption. It's new. Our old mantra used to be, we don't want to be early adopters, let other people use it. Well, with the current technology, if you don't keep up, it could mean problems with your customers, employees, or constituents. We're not sure what the benefits are going to be. The irreversibility that creates at least some sunk cost. Once we put it in, we've spent the money, we've spent the time. Prepare for that ever-changing world. What an approach to predict exactly what's coming down the road, but we need an approach to embracing the change without being able to predict exactly what that change will be. So what is that approach? Well, how do we recognize a good idea from a bad idea? So you'll need some way to critique it. You'll need to get some criteria for critiquing the applicability, for example, to what you're trying to accomplish, the familiarity with your audience, with mobile devices, etc. You need to recognize when something is not cost effective. So you need some way to figure out how much it's going to cost to start implementing stuff or developing stuff and rolling it out and trying to drive your customer base there. When your organization is prepared to work with the new thing, or whether you need outside expertise. We can't always do everything all ourselves. Sometimes we need somebody else. It may not be new in the marketplace, but it might be new to you especially. So we might want to go with outside expertise. And then your organization, are they risk takers or they want to avoid risk? How to in as far as adopting the new technology? And of course, know your audience demographic. What are their expectations? How important is it to be early adopters of new technology? For For element, we talk about mobile first rather than making your websites mobile enabled. Mobile first meaning how can our customers use the information that we can present to them? And it might be slightly different than when they're in the field or away from the office than it is when you're sitting there at your desk with your computer and laptop. We need to recognize exceptions. Strategy drive the decision when early adoption does make sense. So early adoption is, again, a strategy a lot of shops take, that we don't want to be early adopters, but we need to look at every single thing that comes along and say, don't apply the rule if it doesn't make good business sense for us. Change needs to be evaluated for toe in the water or full immersion. So we're saying, do I want to pilot it first for just a few people so I can get some feedback, tweak it, or is this something that I really need to get out to everybody? And then develop a process on how you will rapidly respond to change. Who, what, where, when is that going to happen? Monitor and measure results. So we've adopted something. We've implemented something. Now, we still need to know how effective that was in order to tweak the experience and to move the organization further. Monitor and measure results so that we see whether the benefits are being achieved or not, or whether we can improve on the experience or not. Have an approach to back out the latest implementation if it causes more harm than good. Organizational change is a challenge for any new or enhanced products and service. It's especially challenging with new technology. Address cultural change. So in your organization, again, how risk adverse or risk accepting are they? How easily do they adopt to change? Because it's not always about what you've implemented, it's driving people to use it, whether it's your employees or your customers. Are they going to be receptive to using it? And then what can we do about trying to get them to understand the benefits and why we thought it would be beneficial for them? Change essential in developing your strategy and your program on how you're going to incorporate your new technology. Know your audience, know who the people are. And the North Central Rural Sociological Committee have categorized these 5 different types of people. People that are innovators, more educated and more risk-oriented. The early adopters, they're usually younger, more educated, tend to be leaders. Early majority, more conservative, but open to new ideas, able to influence. Late majority, older, fairly conservative, less socially active. Laggards, very conservative, oldest, least educated. Now, this is just general and definitely may not apply to your audience. When it comes to innovators, early adoption, myself, I'm 67 years old, and I can't wait to get the newest technology out the door. My colleagues that I play cards with, they're the same. They're all sporting the latest smartphones. They got stuff in the home, et cetera. So don't generalize. This is just sharing. There are multiple categories of your demographics, and you really need to understand what those demographics are. Categories of focus today. So you've seen them, you've heard about them. Focus is on, of course, social media, capabilities, technology advances, 3D printing, and smart everything. So recognize the opportunity to improve your business through the use of advances in these areas. And when we